Hey, God bless you. It's Sunday, Palm Sunday, the fifth Sunday of March, and we're here and we're preparing for worship. I want you to join us for this word that the Lord has given us today. Join us in the sanctuary this morning. It is also Youth Sunday, and we decided to put youth in on top today. And our theme for today is "You Don't Know My Story, You Are My Glory." So today we're talking about the story. I want you to join us today as we go and we follow Jacob in Genesis. Today we're preaching the sermon you ain't even know. Yeah, translation for the real people, you didn't even know. Hey, check us out in the sanctuary this morning. We're going to have a time. Can't wait to see you there. Join us now.
Genesis 32:24 says, "And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let go, except thou bless me. Verse 27 says, And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. The man said in verse 28, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince has thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. And Jacob answered him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou knowest or ask my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, which means highest point. Look at your neighbor. Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
All right.
Somebody else said, started from the bottom. Now we're here. Look at your neighbor. The other neighbor said, You ain't even know. No, sit down. Sit down. You ain't even know. For those of y'all that don't know what that is, translated for us that speak English, that says, you didn't even know. For those who like speaking whatever the world that is, you didn't even know. Bible declares in Genesis, as it pertains to a man by the name of Jacob. Many of you, several of you, if you've been a member here, have heard me preach from this text before. Jacob was a twin. He had a brother by the name of Esau. Esau was the older twin. Esau was born first. Excuse me. And Jacob's name means to be a heel catcher. It was created because of this man Jacob, who was born out of the womb of his mom Rebekah. And Rebekah had a bad history. She was a thief and she was a liar. And so he came from this womb. But Jacob from birth had this thing about him that he always needed to be first. And y'all ever heard or known somebody that'll run around you just to be the first ahead of you? Or you ever meet some folks that you would say you got something and they would lie and say they got it too just because they want to be the first one? And the next time you see it, it look more brand new than yours. You know? Those type of people that Jacob created out of his loins, those type of folks that always just got to be ahead or on top. And the truth of the matter is because they have some sort of low self-esteem about themselves. And this is what was created out of the loins of Isaac and out of the womb of Rebekah, who were the parents of Jacob and Esau. If you stick with me, we'll go. I promise it won't take long. And so Jacob came out of the womb. They were twins. Years down the line, I'm sure of much fighting and wrestling. I have Zacchaeus and I have two other children. And Vashti and Josiah would say that something has happened. Daddy, I did this. Or Daddy, something happened to me. And Zacchaeus, not even knowing or halfway understanding English, would immediately say, I do. And we'll look at him and say, Zacchaeus, you do what? And he'll just say, I do. And Vashti and Josiah will say, well, what do you do? And he'll look at him again and say, I do. Because there is something in him that needs to match up with the other children because it makes him feel inferior. Is there anybody in here that can be honest and say once in your life you felt just a little inferior? The word today is going to help you to understand that where you are today compared to where you were yesterday is going to lead you on a better track, because some of us started from the bottom. If you really took your time and went through process Bible study, Thursday nights. Some of y'all still ain't got Thursday night under your belt yet, but we're going to get you there. And so if you really have gone through the process, there is some sort of bottom that you have started in, and God has elevated you to where you are now. Can I hear somebody say yes? And so as Jacob went through this point of his life, Esau was outside in the house, and he was cooking some soup while Jacob was outside fooling around as usual. And so Jacob was inside. He was cooking, and Esau was outside. I'm sorry. And so Jacob was cooking what was called lentil soup. Anybody here like lentil soup? I don't care. I don't like it. And so Esau comes in the house, and he was hungry. He was really hungry. And so he realized that his brother was cooking some soup. And so he said, brother, can I have some of what you're cooking? And Jacob was only cooking enough for himself. Yeah, the can of Progresso, the one. Okay, and so he was cooking the soup for himself, but he did not have a portion for his brother. So not only was Jacob trying to be the best, but he was selfish. Do we got any of those? Folk that want to be in charge, but you don't like to share. Folk that want to have stuff to do, but don't want to share. I need some folk in here that will just holler like Zacchaeus said, share! Share! So Jacob didn't want to share with his brother. And so Esau said, well, look, I'll do anything you want me to do. You got to be careful when you tell folks nowadays, I'll do anything you want me to do. I can't get no witness here. I can't get a few men, because I ain't telling no other man, I need you. I'll do anything you want. No, sir. No, sir, not anything. No, sir. I'll wash your car. No, sir. No, sir, not anything. And so he said, I'll do anything that you might need me to do. And Jacob was a quick thinker when it came down to being a con artist. Yes. And so Jacob said, well, listen, since I wanted to be the oldest son and you still came out first, how about you give me the birthright of our dad? And what it is that the birthright ensured that Esau would have a future set for him. And so Jacob didn't have no hope in his future but that little suit. Y'all understand that? And so Jacob said, well, if you give me what you got that'll ensure that I'll have a good future, then I'll give you the suit. You be careful what you give when somebody asks you for it. You be careful giving up something that can bless your life for a temporary fix. I can't hear nobody. You be careful giving out your body to folks for a moment. And then they walk away good. And you left crying because you don't know what you're going to do the rest of your life. See, you be careful what you give away to folks because you need an instant moment or some gratification. I just need to feel better. You'll be the one left trying to figure out where the pieces of your body are. You'll be the one left trying to figure out why your emotions are all jacked up and you don't let everybody get in and out of you. Y'all ain't talking. We gotta be real. This is you Sunday. Let's be honest. You let everybody tap into your glory, and then when you get to church on Sunday, you don't know how to get in. You be careful what you're giving up to folks who really don't mean the best.
That's for you. That's right.
Be careful handing over a lifetime of miracle for a moment of happiness. Because the truth be told is it may feel good, but in excellence and in truth, it does not make you happy. Oh, Lord have mercy. We watch TV and we see all of these celebrities with money, and then 30 years down the line they kill themselves because they have a bank full of money that still can't make them happy. You can't buy me. You can't give me cars, and that ain't going to give me happiness in my heart. You can't give me gifts gifts. That ain't gonna get me over who raped me. Y'all ain't talking. You can't give me gifts to make me feel better about how my daddy never was there. You can't give me gifts to make me feel better about how my parents never told me they loved me. Gift is not really what's going to clean up my heart, but I need some love that's going to change my opinion about folks. So you don't give up a lifetime for a moment or a bowl of soup. There are people in the world, homeless folks, and folks who don't have food or money, but they've given up their body for a big double. Yeah, they've given up their body for a companion who really don't love them. Prostitutes, because they never had relationships with their dads or with their parents or with the ones they love, are giving up their body just to have somebody there. When 9 times out of 10, who's there is whipping your tail every other hour of the day. All right. And so, what am I saying? I'm saying that in order to really be able to appreciate where you come from, you can't be so naive and be willing to give up everything to God for a little taste of glory. All right. So, Jacob was there. He gave the suit. He gave the suit, and he got his brother's birthright. Somebody say mission accomplished. And so then Jacob went on about his life, and he did some other stupid things, but one in particular was he was a man. Somebody said he was a man. He was a full-blooded man, and he wanted a woman. And he found a woman by the name of Leah that he wanted, and he wanted to know, like the Bible. He didn't want to just know her. He wanted to know her, like the Bible. And so he said, well, I want to make this woman my wife. Let me tell you something. Before you choose, men of God, who it is that you want to make your wife, you make sure that she don't have no stipulations with her. You make sure that there ain't no stuff with the and we get caught up to, let's be honest, the men, you put women before you make him your man and all of this, and you start looking at rings, and he ain't going with you. Because half of the time women are ring shopping and men ain't ring thinking. Y'all understand that? Half the time the women done set a wedding date and he already got a breakup date in mind. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing and you trying to figure out why he break up with you Valentine and Christmas. Or you trying to say why he don't call you around Valentine's Day and it's all of a sudden not working for us around Christmas time. And you the one, okay? Well, let me talk to the men for a moment. I got my women's attention. I know, but I'm talking now to the men that you be careful that she ain't just in it for what you can give her. Yeah, you be careful that she ain't just in it and because her daddy sees something in your pocket and you might be able to elevate. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. You make sure that she ain't just jumping in that thing because her daddy will make you work for her. No. The Bible says he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. If he that pursues a woman, if he was in Bible study, I know you kind of Bible study, if he pursues a woman, then he finds him a good thing and he obtains favor from God. And I really don't need to work for your daddy's attention. I need his permission, but I don't need his attention. Listen to this whole thing. And Jacob, he met this girl that he wanted to marry, and out of respect, he went to her daddy. Right. But the daddy, somebody said a play about to get played. The daddy said, check this out. If you really want her, you got to work for 77 long years. And so he worked and worked his tail off. And the man worked for years to get this woman. And the last day, he got done sweating. And he got done slaving. And he walked in the house and he said, Father-in-law, I've done the work. Now I want my woman. H-W-O-M-A-N. Woman. And so he said, well, sir, it is a custom, he got him. It's a custom in our land that the oldest daughter has to get married first. And let's just say that the oldest daughter was a bit overweight, not as cute as the one he wanted, and she looked like she had been stained already. But he had to take that one. But then in that day, he could have more than one woman. And so he said, fine. But now what do I have to do to get the one I want? Work another. Y'all ain't said 70, because they lived a long time. You got to work another 77 years. And this fool went to work again because he wanted that one too. And so he worked 77 more years, and he got the one that he wanted. But now he's stuck with silver and gold. And he's trying to figure out how he can just get gold without having to do silver too. If you get my drift. And so he had to now have silver and gold. By this point in his life, Jacob, I read about his little trying to get me. Jacob was approximately 9. He was old. He was almost 200, I promise you, years old. And so he was at the point in his life where he had silver and had gold. He had lied. He had become a con artist at his best. Now, there are some that just want to stay criminals. You ever met them type of folks? Don't holler too loud. But the ones that want to live in jail, you met the ones that get out and do something else just to get back in, as if that food is better than their mama's food, as if they like wearing stripes all the time. Maybe if I was you, I'd go to Walmart and find me all the stripes I could, but I don't want to be locked up in no cage. And Jacob was the type of man that wanted to live wrong. You can't be right. I'm talking about, even if you ain't in jail, you just can't be right. You and her always arguing. You don't want to find work. You can't never do this right. You can't, it's just always wrong. That was Jacob until one night he went to sleep. And let me tell you, somebody had the heat off. Let me tell you, or down, and let me tell you, he said he went to sleep. And the Bible declares that he wrestled a man all night long. Somebody say all night. All night. Now it's one thing to sleep, but it's another thing when you cannot get rest. It's another thing when you have to wrestle with your mind all night long. This is who he was wrestling with. Jacob was wrestling with who he was. Somebody shout out who he was, and who he was supposed to become. And the problem is that if God wants you, God's going to get you. I'm going to talk to some of y'all that don't want to come to church. I'm going to talk to some of y'all that stay asleep on Sunday morning and still think you know God. I'm going to talk to some of y'all who say, I can miss church and just watch BET. I can watch Bobby Jones and think that I got related. No. First of all, Bobby Jones, we ain't sure he got relationship with God. So you need to get you somewhere where you can really find some relationship with God and some fellowship with the saints. And so God said, look here, enough of all of the foolishness you've been doing in your life. I'm going to wrestle you until I get your attention. And Jacob wrestled with God's idea of who he was supposed to become all night long. And my favorite part of the text, and I'm almost through, is that he pulled his hip right here out of the joint so that he would afflict him. Y'all ain't talking to me in here. Can I share with you something? That Jacob actually walked away from fighting with God with a problem. Y'all think that every time you deal with God, you're going to walk away straight and delivered. I'm talking to some of y'all who still want to love God right and got some issues. Is there anybody in here that says, listen, I love God, I got relationship with God, I go to church on a regular basis, but there's a few things about me that I just can't let go of. And the truth is, some of y'all look at me saying, I said there's a few things about me that I ain't let go of yet, and there's a few things about me, if you be quite honest, that I really don't want to let go of yet. There's some stuff that every time I make the mistake, I pray and repent, and I ask God to forgive me, and the Bible declares that if he ain't ready to deliver you yet, all he gonna say is, my grace is. And they did just what he said. But Jacob, it was time for him to break loose of all he did. But he said, I'm going to leave you with a reminder of the fight that we had to have when you were in the bottom. Y'all said, I'm going to leave you with something that's going to remind you of what it is it took for you to get here. I wish I had some folk that was on the top now that really realized that there's a few things that are left in me that just reminds me of how he pulled me out of one book. I got a couple scars and bruises that I could show you that really got me to where I am. I'm gonna look at your neighbor and say, I may be wounded, but I got the victory. I'm not crying over what it took for me to get here. I want to live in where I am now and celebrate my scars later. I wish I had somebody that had 2 feet that'll jump up in here and just holler, don't mind my scars, because I'm victorious. They had to start at the bottom. They still have some issues left, but I'm here. I think it'll look at somebody and say, I got some stuff left, but that don't matter right now. I'm here. We walk around the church and we'll judge